Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm chatting in three different classrooms chat room box. So on Canvas, ideally have your chat box open there. You can see some questions that might come there. And then I'm going to answer those questions here, but there's going to be a couple of moments where I might not be really talking because I'm going to be in a different window. Apologies for the delay. I was trying to get this to share my screen with just my picture in the corner, but apparently my computer can't handle that live. I would have to do that while not online. Um, so if we need to go over something where I'm showing my screen for it, I'll have to record that and then post that for you guys right after we finish things up. But I'll try to just talk you through where to find things live just this way. Try to talk you through how to find anything that you have a question for. And then if I need to record something that's showing it on my screen, I'll have to use a different program to do that. And I'll have that shared for you guys pretty much right after everything's done for this. All right. So you guys can ask me questions here on YouTube, which I see a couple of you guys are saying good morning. So good morning to you. You can ask me questions on the chat room features. I have one up for three different classrooms, so it might take me a little bit. What I'm going to try to do is, as I'm answering any questions that you have, I'm going to try to let you know what questions on deck, because you might not see a question. It might be in a different class's chat shell. You can ask me questions through email. I have my email tab up. I have my phone next to me if you're going to Snapchat me a question or anything like that. So really, however you guys can get in contact with me. Purpose of this, we're going to be chatting. I picture this similar to the beginning of our classes, where we're chatting about upcoming assignments. If you have any questions about how to complete that assignment, now that we're online for a little bit, where to find that assignment, things like that, and then just chatting for a little bit. I'm not going to go over specific, like the social psychology PowerPoint. That I'm going to always post videos for you guys in Canvas with like a quick little lecture, but I will answer any questions about a specific PowerPoint slide or thing in the textbook or anything like that while I'm here. It's possible that I might say, all right, I'm going to post a video answering that, and I'll do that right after I finish up with everything when I do these live streams. So on Thursdays, I'm going to do these with just a lunch break in the middle. So that way, the point that I'm trying to do is to have about a 30 to 60-minute window that overlaps with every one of my three classes. So I'm planning on, as long as these are popular, I'm planning on doing these on Mondays and Thursdays. I can always do these separately or do a screencast for you or a phone call with you if it's just an individual question. 11:30 to 12:30, because that overlaps with one of my classes on Thursday. Then 1:30 to 2:30. Now I have a class. That class starts at 2 p.m. So if we get to a lot of you that can only make it from 2 to 2:30, I can push that back a tiny bit and do 2 to 3. And then on Mondays, I have my other class that meets once a week. So I'm going to do things from 2 to 3 on Mondays. That's really just a matter of how popular these are. Like right now, I see there's 20 of you guys in here. If that's going to be pretty consistent, that there's, questions coming in and things like that. But if it's only two people, three people coming in, then I'll just do those one-on-one, and we can schedule those around your schedule. I thought this might be something that would be nice for you guys. Feels a little bit closer to being in the classroom, at least to me, where you could see me just, here just chatting around. I'm just sitting on my couch, obviously. Okay. So Jillian, step 2 is going to be due for the two classes that meet on Tuesday and Thursday at the end of the day today. So we'll talk about those if you have any questions. And then on my Monday class, the step 2 is due on Monday when the class would normally meet. So for the two classes that are meeting Tuesday, Thursday, it's due by the end of the day today. If you're struggling with finding the document, let me know. I'm going to assume that everyone can view that. And that's really one important thing to just start with. The same area that I'm posting when we were in the classroom, that I was posting all of the information right on that home page, is the module page. So if you go into the home page, it's going to be the exact same page as if you clicked on modules on your left tab. That is where I've been posting like the syllabus, the PowerPoints, everything like that. What I'm going to do while we're online is I'm going to reorganize that a little bit better. So now you're going to see different sections for the dates for the week. And I'm going to label them by the date so it's easy to pay attention, not get confused with that. I'm also going to always drag the current week to the top of the page. And then you'll see after that, you'll see the all the information we have when we were face to face. Good morning, just here. You'll see all the information when we were face to face. And then after that, you'll see if you need to go back to a past module, a past week that we did, or a future one if you want to look ahead a little bit. Those will be towards the bottom of that page. So the information for step 2 is going to be there. I put the links for step 2 in the label for the week. And then the specific document you're going to submit to me later today. And I guess I'll go through that really quick right now. Just give me 1 second. I'm going to look at the email and chat rooms. Actually, I don't have an email, but I'm going to look at the chat rooms to see if I have any questions there. And I don't, so that's cool. If everyone's communicating with me on the YouTube chat, that makes things so much easier for me. I just didn't want to rely that anyone has an account. Also, this is designed that you guys can come in and out, so don't feel that you have to stay here. If you already are comfortable with everything we're talking about, you can stop back in a little bit later to ask me another question or something like that as well. This isn't designed that you have to be in this classroom like you would be if we were a face-to-face class the whole time. It's designed so that you can stop in, ask me any questions. If you want to just chat, we can always just chat about how quarantine's treating everybody. But you can come in and out. Yes, the movie poster is on pause. So that assignment is only in my Tuesday and Thursday class. So if you're in the Monday class, that's not going to apply to you. That's on pause right now. When we know when we're coming back into the classroom is when I'll have a little bit more information about how we're doing that. So for another week, I'm not going to have an answer for how we're going to do that. If we end up back in the classroom, we can approach that. I don't see a really good way to have that as a big assignment online. So if we end up online throughout the rest of the semester, which seems like that's a possibility, I'll figure something out. I want to figure something out that those of you who haven't even started on it, it's fine. It's just going to be something that we'll have postponed, canceled if we end up doing it that way. But I also want to have something in place that those of you who did do some work, because that was over spring break, some of you have already done some work, that you have an opportunity to maybe submit that in place of a different assignment, so that you have something that you can kind of pick and choose, so you're not just having wasted work on that. But I'm going to talk about that right at the end of March, beginning of April, as we get updates, is when I'll have updates for that. Good morning. Back to step 2, because I'm sure a lot of people are going to have some questions about that, since it's due for the Tuesday, Thursday class, end of the day today on Thursday. Monday class is going to be due on Monday at the end of the day. So let me talk really quickly about that assignment. Again, if you can't find it, let me know, because I'm not going to talk about where to find that. That's just right on the modules page, and you should be able to find those documents. One of those documents says guide, one says example. Those are the things I've shown you in class before we ended up online. So hopefully those are familiar to you. The one that says example is just an example of what an A version looks like, and I really recommend taking a look at that as you're writing it up, so you can see that gives you a good idea on about how much content should be, how to answer those questions and things like that. You guys will load the guide up, and on the guide, it's the basic instructions. The second page is just erasing the information that might be there, or you can actually even leave the headings in there, and you're just putting your own information, and then you just submit that document to me at the end of everything. Where you submit the document is in that last link on the module that says step 2. Let me go into the page just so I can tell you exactly word for word what that says. It should just say step 2 - research worksheet. And if you click on that, there's going to be a submission box right there that you submit your document. You just submit it in as a Word document or a PDF. Canvas won't accept it if it's in dot pages, so make sure you convert it to a PDF or a Word document. And then I'm just going to grade it right from there. So you're just going to submit it right to me through Canvas. If absolutely necessary, email it to me, but especially now that we're going to be online for the rest of the semester, it's pretty important that you figure out how to submit things online. So really make sure you try to submit that on Canvas first. After you submit it to me, I'll grade it as normal right from there. And as far as what you're specifically putting in that, the instructions are right on the paper. You're just answering those questions. But the big things that I would say to you is, good morning, Preston, is that you are going to just use one article. That's always important. Sometimes people are putting them together. That's going to be what we do with step 3. You're just using one of your articles and you're breaking that article down. You're taking one article, breaking it down into the core essentials. Those core essentials are going to be just the questions that are on the assignment to answer. The whole thing that I went over in the classroom as we were going over this, in my own words of it, is for our purposes, we're doing this on 2 articles. So I'm not really going to say that you really need the research worksheet to keep track of what was in each article. But in your futures of doing research in college, you're going to be doing assignments that are going to be on a lot of articles, 10 articles, 10 references, 20 references, things like that. It's going to be really easy to lose track of what's in each one of your references, what's in each one of your sources, if you have that many. And that's what a research worksheet does. It's just really simple organization. Yes, the research worksheet I'm talking about right now. And with that, that's the purpose of this. It's really a shortened thing. In your future, you're going to write these up in bullet points. For our assignment, it's going to be paragraph form. But in the future, when you have these in bullet points, you'll be able to look at them for 30 seconds and know what was in that article. And that's the point. If you had to go back to your article and read through all your highlights, it's going to take you a lot longer to do than 30 seconds, and that'll get frustrating. For our purposes, you're going to do this in paragraph form for the first time that you do it. And because it's the first time you do it and because it's in paragraph form, it's going to take you longer than it'll take you in the future. When I write these up for articles, writing up a research worksheet in an article takes me 10 minutes at the most. For this time, as you're doing it in paragraph form and it's the first time, it'll feel like it's a short paper. Each one of those sections will be one big paragraph or 2 short paragraphs. So in essence, by the time you're said and done, this is going to equal about a 1-page paper that you're going to submit to me. As long as you're answering every single question that's on there, and as long as you're giving me enough detail, you're going to do well on the assignment. Yeah, let me know if you have any more specific questions or any other questions, anything that you think I might not have covered. And yes, this year, that's what I was just talking about. Step 2, that's going to be the paper that's due tonight for the Tuesday, Thursday classes, Monday for the Monday class. So it does have different due dates. I have 3 classes that are in potentially in this live stream, and I'm going to be live streaming. As long as you guys have interest in coming into these, I'll be doing these on Mondays and Thursdays. So that way I touch on a little bit of all of my classes' classroom time. So Mondays will be Monday will be 2 to 3 p.m. That overlaps with my Monday class. And then Thursday, right now I'm thinking 11:30 to 12:30, take a break for lunch, and then 1:30 to 2:30, because then it would the same thing. It gets into all of my classes for at least a little bit. If that doesn't work, especially for my Tuesday, Thursday class that goes from 2 to 3:20, let me know, because I can always push that back to starting that stream and do it from 2 to 3 for the second half of that, if that's something that really is important to everybody. Okay, so for the social psych discussion on the Stanford Prison Experiment, we submitted through the page, right? I just want to make sure that I did it the right way. So you're going to submit it through the discussion board page, yes. I can take a look to make sure that you did submit it the right way. But yeah, it's as long as you did it on the discussion board, that's exactly where you should be submitting it every single time. For the discussion board, for all 3 of my classes, I have a quick discussion board. It's what it says, is quick discussion board. That's due on Friday for all 3 of the classes, so that's due tomorrow. That one, the entire question isn't on the discussion board. That one, you need to go into 2 places. So let me talk really quickly about that assignment. For the quick discussion board, the entirety of it's going to take you 60 seconds to do. The entire time commitment of this is figuring out where you're going to actually submit it. So where you're going to submit it, you're going to have to look through everything in that module for the week. It's labeled for the week's dates. So it's labeled March 16th to March 20th for the Tuesday and Thursday classes. And then it's labeled March 18th to March 27th for the Monday class, since technically we didn't have our Monday meeting for this week for that class. You're going to go right through all of that information, look through all of that, and that's what you should do every week, is look through everything that's in that module page. And that's your home page. It's going to be at the top of the page. So if you read the weekly introduction for this week for the quick discussion board, In the weekly introduction, and I want you to read the weekly introduction every week. That's going to be where I'm telling you everything that's in this module, what you're doing for the week. In that, there is part one of what you have to answer. So I'm not going to say that on the stream. I want to make sure that you can click on that, because that's going to be really important if we are online for the long term, that you can click on the weekly introduction. Part one of your post, what you're putting in your main post, is literally, I think it's like one word basically that you can put on that. And that's in the introduction for the week. You're going to then go onto the discussion board. Right under the discussion board, there's the word reply. Right under the main post that's by me, there's the word reply, and you're going to reply with what's in the introduction to say. Then if you read the question on the discussion board, there is something that I want you to reply to a classmate with. And that, I'm not worried about you guys reading that part. So that's just what's your favorite movie. You're just going to click that, but I want you to reply not to me with that. I want you to reply to a classmate with that. And that's it. So in all, the actual work is going to take you 60 seconds. It's just figuring out where to find that. So if you're good with Canvas, it's basically not even an assignment. If you're not good with Canvas, that's what I'm going to ask for you guys, is to learn a little bit. And since the vast majority, from what it sounds like, as we've been going through so many emails and conference calls about moving all of our classes online, it sounds like the vast majority of your classes are going to be using the discussions. So that's something you're going to be using for all of your classes, or for the vast majority of your classes, I should say, moving forward. And then for the social psychology one, for the Stanford Prison Experiment, that discussion board, everything is in the discussion question itself. For the discussion question, there's still some information in the weekly module for that week. So I have a video that's 11 minutes, just me talking about social influence, which will help you with the Stanford Prison Experiment. I posted a crash course psychology video, which is really, really good. That's some extra information. But the things you directly need to answer that question would be the documentary on the Stanford Prison Experiment, which is on that discussion question. There's also on that discussion question a short video about the elevator experiment, which is something that was originally done by Candid Camera, if you remember. And then there's the actual question itself. So make sure you're still looking through the weekly information, but everything to answer the discussion question that you need at the minimum is on that discussion question. Then you just are going to reply to my post with your information, which is just basically, in essence, you're doing a one-page paper with these discussion responses. 250 words equals a double-spaced one-page paper. And then you're going to reply to two classmates. The only thing for when you reply to classmates, give me more than a sentence. The one thing I don't want to see is just saying, "Oh, what a good post," or "Oh, I agree with you." I want to see you adding something. You talk about something specific that you liked or didn't like, or you agree with, disagree with, so things like that. I'm totally fine with 2 to 3 sentence responses. They shouldn't be really long. The replies are in no way like your main posts. And if I didn't answer anything with that, just let me know and I'll get to that. But let me get through some chats, some other questions in the chat rooms, and see what else we have. It should be the button should say reply if you're talking about for the discussion questions this year, or are you talking about step 2, the research worksheet? And also, guys, let me know if my microphone isn't really good with this. I was thinking about just ordering some kind of a microphone or headset on Amazon. It seemed like the sound came out okay when I just recorded the videos that I did earlier in the week, but for the live stream, I don't know how well the microphone's going to pick things up. Rose, the social psychology discussion, as well as the memory discussion, those are just on hold until the beginning of April. So they're not on hold for very long. As soon as I know if we're in the classroom the beginning of April is what I'm going to decide, because if we're going back into the classroom, I want you to be able to do it in the class. But if we're online, that'll be right when we pick back up. So the very beginning of April, we'll do something with that. If we are online, you're just going to basically do this as a discussion forum. You're going to send me some information like a PowerPoint or just a couple paragraphs. I'm going to post that in the discussion question. And then what you guys are going to do, every person in your group, if we do it online, is just going to have one discussion question that they host, in essence. So if there's 5 people in your group, though, instead of having 10 total discussion questions, you'll have 5, 1 for each person. But that person will be responsible for responding to everyone's question, everyone's response on that question. And I'll go through that depending on where we are with April 1st. I'll go through that in a lot more detail if we're doing it online. Let me have to submit tomorrow how to do it. Adil, are you talking about the quick discussion board? I was just talking about that, so I don't know, as I'm scrolling down, I don't know if I answered that then, or if you weren't tuned in for that. So let me know if I have to go over it again, and I'll go over it in a few minutes, but let me get through everyone else's question. Kiara, when is the paper due? If you're talking about the research worksheet, then that's going to be due end of day today for the Tuesday, Thursday class, and end of the day Monday for my Monday class. If you're talking about step 3, which is the final paper on this, that's still going to be due the same date that was in the syllabus, so it'll be due at the end of the semester, so you have a solid month before that'll be due. Carmen, it should just say reply on the discussion board. Are you not seeing a reply on there? It shouldn't say submit. Submit will be for when you're submitting an assignment. If for a discussion post, it's going to say reply. When you click on reply, it's going to open a text box. And then at the bottom of your text box, it'll say submit when you're done with your what you're trying to type up. And I can screenshot that and post a video for that so everybody can see what those boxes look like. Unfortunately, like I said at the beginning of this, the one technology fail I had, which is why my stream got up a couple minutes late, the one big fail that I had here was when I tried to actually do showing my screen live. My computer only supported up to something 8.0, and I need 9.0 to do that live. So I have to do that when I'm not live, unfortunately. So whatever I need to screen share with you guys, unless I can figure this out, but I'm not going to use right now to do that. I'll look at that this weekend. What I'll have to do is anything that I need to screen share with you guys will have to go up right after these live streams. I wanted to do it. You probably have seen it before, like just my screen and then like a little, I'm trying to show you with my fingers, just like a little in the bottom right corner picture of me, like you see right now, and the rest of it being my actual computer screen. But unfortunately, that I can't do when I'm live unless I just might need to figure out how to do it. But when I tried to, it said that my computer isn't updated enough. I need something a little better than my computer has. So I can screen share that. Afterwards, I'll show you how to do the discussions, where the reply button is for everything, and I'll show you guys that really quickly after I'm done with everything. I'll go on to whichever one of my shells has I think my 11 a.m. Tuesday, Thursday class has a lot of people that have replied already to the quick discussion board. So I'll load that up really quick and just do it in student view and kind of show you guys how that'll look. All right, awesome. Thank you guys for letting me know that the audio's working. Saves me a couple bucks having to buy a microphone. I have headsets, but I figured this is just easier than using that. Monday, Adila, the Monday class, the research worksheet is going to be due on Monday. Then the same thing for all my classes. The quick discussion board's due this Friday. The quick discussion board, I didn't actually mention that. It's just extra credit, guys. It's not something that I'm grading. I'm going to give you guys a couple of extra credit points. If you can do this, all I'm trying to do is find out that you can use the technology, so that way when you have to use it next week, you're not struggling to do it. I want you guys to just get a really quick practice. It's just extra credit. Even if you can't figure it out, you're not losing any points. And then next week, all 3 of my classes have that social psychology discussion board. Kiera, you can access the research worksheet if you go on the home page for Canvas, the same place you normally would have found the PowerPoints and the syllabus and everything. On the top of the page, I'm now going to drag up all the information for each week. I'm going to organize it week by week, so it should be pretty clear for you. And in there, you'll see a couple things for research worksheet. You'll see the research worksheet example and the research worksheet guide that I've shown you guys in class. That's what you're going to actually load up the guide, and you just answer right on the second page of the guide is where you're going to answer everything. And the third thing that you'll see just says step 2-research worksheet, and that's where you can submit it when you're done. You'll go onto there and you just click on the button that says, submit your assignment, and you load up your document on that and click submit. Carmen, yes, 250 words. I'm not going to count your words, guys. It's a 1-page double-space paper. And I always recommend when you're doing discussion boards to write your discussion post on a Word document and then just copy and paste it over, just in case your computer crashes. Your Word document will save it. The discussion board won't save your work. So it's going to be really, it's once you hit a one page, basically, just you're good, and don't just stop in the middle of a sentence, obviously, but just copy and paste it right over. 250 words, just one page double space. That's what I'm aiming for. No, for the quick discussion board, Preston, it'll take you 60 seconds. The main post that you're doing, read the weekly introduction. I don't want to say what you're doing on that because I want to make sure everyone can find the weekly introduction. In the weekly introduction, I tell you what I want in your main post. It's one word. And then I want you to reply to a classmate for your one reply. So normally you'll do two replies to classmates. This you're only doing one, and all you're doing when you reply is saying your favorite movie. That I don't mind saying because it's on the discussion question, but I want to make sure that everyone can not just find the discussion board to submit, but also is finding all of the information that I'm posting in that module. So that you're looking at the weekly introduction and all the content that's up there. And that's very simply, you're just clicking on that, reading the introduction. In the middle of that introduction, it's going to say the one word that I want you guys to put in your quick discussion board post. So the quick discussion board will take you 60 seconds other than finding out where to actually make the post. All right, let me see if I have any questions in the chats. It doesn't look like I'm getting a lot through the chats. Litzy, I see you said, when is the post of favorite movie due? I'm not sure if that's the quick discussion board or the movie poster. I'm assuming that's the reply to the quick discussion board because I didn't specifically say when you needed to make that reply. I'm kind of picturing everyone's just going to do them all at the same time since it's only going to take a few seconds. But technically, as long as you get the main post out, you put your one word thing that's in the weekly introduction and you get that in to me by Friday at the end of the day. If you needed to, for whatever reason, not get the reply on your favorite movie in until like Saturday, that's fine. With me, I'm not going to be too picky about that. But ideally, just get them both done on Friday because once you're in there, it's going to take you all of a minute. You just do the one word thing for your main post, and then you reply to a classmate with what your favorite movie is, and that'll take you all of another couple seconds. If you were talking about the movie research poster, I will let everybody know what's happening with that when we get to the very beginning of April. That is the one assignment that very much is up in the air right now. We're going to see what happens with that. For those of you who might have done some work on it already, I'm going to have something in place, even if we end up tweaking things around with the assignment so that it ends up kind of canceled for those who haven't done any work. I'll still have something in place where those who have worked on it, you can use it still, so that way you're not completely wasting the work. I'm thinking what I'm going to do for that is what I think I will do is give you for an assignment once we get to like the second week of April, let's say, give you the choice that you can either submit that if you already had done the work in place of doing the weekly discussion board for 1 week. We'll see when we get there. I'm going to see that depending on when we are back in the classroom. That's the one thing very much that's up in the air right now until we're in the classroom. Our group discussion assignments, I know we're doing them one of two ways. It's just a matter of if we're in the classroom or if we're not in the classroom. So all I'm waiting to do is find out if we're in the classroom. The movie research poster, though, I'm just going to see what comes up when we move into online, what all new information comes up, where we are with everything. So that is the one thing that I do not know the answer to. And once I find that information, I'll also update all of the grade weights in the syllabus. Right now, I'm waiting to find out that information, and then I'll update all the grade weights. Most likely what's going to happen is discussion boards are, for the most part, just going to take over the movie poster grade weight for those classes. And then for the Monday class, I'm just going to introduce the discussion boards being a small amount of the grade weight and kind of just shrink a little bit of something else. Kara, no, that one is going to be, the research worksheet's going to be in the March 16th to 20th module, not the 23rd to the 27th module. The 23rd to 27th is all about social psychology. The one at the very top of your page, if you scroll up where you're seeing that module, Just scroll up to the top and you should see March 16th to 20, and the research worksheet will be in there. Just here, if we need to chat when I'm done with the live streams, we can chat over the phone. If you have questions that I can help you with a little bit more one-on-one, we can chat and schedule a time later on today as well. Yep, and it just says step 2 dash worksheet. That's where you're submitting for that, is right there. The one thing that my heart goes out to more than anything with everything going on is those who are seniors that would be graduating, especially if you live on campus. Like if you're going to Rutgers and you're living on campus and you might get basically not everything gets canceled. You have to go home. You're not even potentially allowed on campus with the specific exceptions. That's that just stinks so much. You're gonna have to wait to graduate to walk and everything. All the so important, all the bonding that you're going to be going through with all of your classmates and everything, and more than anything for high school seniors, college seniors. Um, for those of you here that you're in your last semester, that's it's I feel so bad for you guys for all that. Uh, Keith, the research worksheet is going to be due today for the Tuesday, Thursday class, Monday for the Monday class. But the actual research paper, so step 3, will be due the same time it's on the syllabus at the very end of the semester. So you still have about a month. That stinks if they're actually requiring you to pay money for it. A lot of the softwares that do potentially cost, a lot of those developers were giving free access just for this semester for that. It was made a lot of sense for marketing for them. They're getting people to be using them and maybe relying on them when they do cost money in the future. But that stinks if it's a software that they weren't doing that. There's a lot of softwares that are out there that they're making a one-time, help everyone out through all of this, and they're giving that, basically software basically to everyone. There, I do teach at a school that does not use Canvas, and it kind of requires something like that. The Canvas is very good with online classes. I have my criticisms of Canvas, but for online classrooms, it's very well organized. You have a lot of functionality with everything. Just the chat room feature can come in really, really handy for like an office hour and things like that. It stinks for the other, because you really kind of do need to use some kind of another program to make things work for online classes. Uh, no, Adila, the discussion boards are going to be for everyone every week. That's what we're going to do as our assignment. So the first one is going to be due next week for you guys on social psychology. Um, the group discussion presentations. So for the social group and the memory group, we'll do things differently. What I'm going to do for that, if we're online, is I'm going to have both of those run the same week, but that'll be the only assignment for that week. So instead of having a normal full discussion board, I will have those two groups run their discussion boards, and that'll be all that we do. So everyone that's not in the discussion groups, it's going to be a little easier for you guys. You're going to still have to ask questions just like we normally would in the classroom. However, it's not going to involve as much, actual thought in a main post. The main post part of this is going to really be for the groups that are doing the discussion to do 4, but it'll still be less time commitment than doing a main post. But I'll give you that information as soon as I know. Everything's waiting from the school, really from the state. The state's going to let put their information out, and then the school can make their decision if we are safe to go back into the classroom or if we are online for potentially the rest of the semester. Once that information comes out is when I will update you guys on the specifics for the group discussion presentations. Um, if we can do them in class, we'll do them in class because that way it's consistent with all of the other groups. If we have to do them online, that's how we're going to do them. Is the two groups, the social and memory group that would still have to present, they will those groups will have more work than everyone else because they have the presentation, and everyone else is just going to be answering the discussion questions, and then just reviewing their PowerPoint or whatever they post for me. And also to that, right after the live stream, literally it's the top of my to-do list now. I was trying to get to it right before the live stream, is to update grades for those who do have completed um, group discussions. It was I was trying to get it done this morning, but I had my technology issues with getting the streaming. So as soon as we are done for the day, I will have that up. I might even post them during my lunch break, depending on how much time I end up getting after I finish eating. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Kara, if you want to find a new article for your research worksheet, you certainly can. Hopefully, you found them from the library session that you could still be using what you have. But if for whatever reason you want a new article, by all means, you can. Hi, Amina. So we're not going to cancel the semester one way or the other. It's just a matter of if we have to do it online or on site. And truthfully, I think more than anything, that's going to come from the state. The state's going to make a recommendation, and I expect that the school will follow whatever the recommendation is that the state makes. From trying to keep up with everything that's going on with this, I think it does sound more and more likely that the state's going to recommend education to either delay a little further or potentially for the rest of the semester for higher education. Um, a big part of that is because we have things in place that we can teach online. Whereas, think about, I'm sure you guys are dealing with it with your friends and parents and potentially yourselves as well. There's so many jobs that are now going remote that they just don't have that in place. They're really struggling. The hard part for us is we're learning new technology, but at least we have these programs in place that we can. And I teach online as well. So while I'm not teaching, these classes are not going to function the same as my online classes do. It's going to end up a little bit less work. It's a little bit less involved for our classes as we're making this change. But the nice part is, all the things that we're going to be using are technologies that at least I hopefully can help answer any questions that you guys have for. The one big thing was doing these live streams. I don't do these for my online classes. I just do one-on-one meetings and things like that. So these are new to me, and technology, as I mentioned, I can't get my screen to share live. So technology is going to be a little bit of a learning curve for me for these. But everything else, hopefully, if whatever questions you guys have about using something on Canvas, I'm going to be pretty familiar with those. So hopefully, I can help answer some of them. How do I get to the video? What video are you talking about just here? All right, I'll go into the group discussions a little bit more detailed. There's only 9 of you guys here, so I'm going to still have to be go into this detail when we get to the assignment. So I'll post a video in a few weeks about this regardless, but I will go into some detail about the assignment for you guys that are here just to clear up a little bit. Before I get to that, so Adila, camp class on Monday will for sure be done on Canvas, and then beyond next Monday, that's what we're waiting to be seen. We know that we will be online until the end of March. I believe the date is March 1st that everything's getting reevaluated. It might be March 30th or something like that. So actually, for Monday, for 2 more Mondays, we'll end up online for sure. And then we're going to evaluate everything from there. I'm going to go into the group discussion assignments in a minute. Amina, you're with Jasir, so can you see me now? I saw you just posted in the chat that you couldn't see me. I'm hoping that you're able to. If you don't see me, it could be something with my video or something like that. I don't know. But all right, let me go into the group discussion assignments. I've been holding my coffee for so long, it's ice cold now. All right, group discussion assignments. This is how we're going to do them. If we are back in the classroom in April, we're going to still do them in the classroom just like we otherwise would. Yes, absolutely, Adil. You can absolutely message me. This is for me to answer questions in a big group thing, group setting, so that for the common questions everyone has, you have it here, as well as people can potentially help each other out a little bit if there's something that other people can help. But anything that's more individual, by all means, email me. Group discussion assignments. If we're back in the class, you're going to go the same as normal. It's just a matter of figuring out the dates for them. Assuming we are not going to be meeting back in the classroom and we are online for the rest of the semester, what we will do is on 1 week, we should have for all of the classes, I believe we just have the social and memory for all 3 of my classes left. I have to double check that to make sure we were all on the same schedule. I don't have that for sure. I have to look at my notes. And what we're going to do is we're going to have 1 week where we're going to just do the group discussion assignments. I'm going to give you guys a PowerPoint still to review that week, but I won't assign you a discussion board specifically. So that might be the first week of April. I might do that. I'm going to figure that out. It might be the second week of April. Probably will not be the second week of April because that's when we're going to do our second exam, I believe. So maybe the third week of April. We'll figure out the date. The date I do not know. I haven't really given that enough thought for the specific date. So with the exception of the date, I can tell you how it's going to work though. If we are doing the group discussions online, we will have both the social group and memory group, and if there's a third group that hasn't presented for one of my classes, we'll have all 3 of them. Those will all go the same week now. What you'll be doing is the first part of your group discussion was going over the article. You're going to still go over the article either through a PowerPoint, because a lot of groups probably have been doing that. They might have already built a PowerPoint. Or it could just be basically like a 1-page paper for your group. Or I would probably say closer to a 2-page paper, probably a little bit more than 1 page. What you're going to do is you're going to email me that link to either a Word document or a PowerPoint, and I'm going to post that link as a discussion question. So just like you're looking at the quick discussion board or the social discussion board, that there's a question when you click on that link, that'll be the thing that everyone sees when they click on the link, and they'll just read through all of your information about the article. Then you guys are going to submit to me as well. Actually, you don't have to submit that to me. You could just post these, but if you want to submit them, I can set it up for you. You guys will also have 1 discussion question each person. So as opposed to in the classroom, we were doing 10 total. Here, you're going to do 1 per person. So if you have a group of 5, it's going to be 5. So everyone's going to come up with 1 that they really like. And I'm going to post, or you can post either one. If it's easier for you, just email it to me and I'll set this up. You'll have 5 different forums with 1 discussion question each. And then the rest of the class is going to go and of those 5, answer 2 of them. Each person will answer 2 different ones of the 5. If it's your question, so let's just say, Kiara, let's say that you're in the social group and you ask one of the 5 questions. And let's say for the rest of the class, let's say 8 students in the class answered your question. You will then reply to all 8 of those people that answered your question. So for you, for the presentation, you will have more work than those who are not doing that presentation that week, for sure. For those who are not doing one of these 2 discussions, let's say you were in the intelligence group and you already presented, all you have to do is answer 2 of those questions for the social discussion board, and then you also have to answer 2 of those questions for the memory discussion board. So your work, you're going to have 4 replies, but you're not going to do a main post. The main post is the most time consuming, so it'll be less total time for you. You'll just have to do 4 different replies, 2 on each one, 2 out of the 5 on each of the forums. And those who are doing, like if you're in the social group, you're still going to have to reply to 2 of the questions on the memory group. But what you'll have to do in the social group is you're just going to reply to all of the classmates who replied to your question in the on your discussion board for your social group. Does that help a little bit? I started struggling a little bit towards the end. So if I wasn't clear on that, let me know. But yes, 2 out of the 5 you'll end up replying to is how we'll do the discussion assignments. I'll figure out the date for them. It might make sense that I'll pair this with abnormal with psychological disorders. Because psychological disorders I can cover with just a bunch of YouTube clips for you guys to watch, and we'll just won't do a discussion board for that week. Theoretically, I could probably do it with the date I have to figure out. That's the only thing that I don't have for you guys right this moment. All right. So, do you guys have any other questions for me right now? Otherwise, it might be a good time for me to go on pause for an hour for lunch. But let me take a look at the chat room, see if anything's here. All right, I don't see any other questions for right now. So if anybody has one that comes up, I'm still going to answer it before we go on break. But my plan here is that I'm going to take about an hour for lunch. I'll come back on at 1:30. You guys here, you don't have to come back unless you have other questions. If I covered everything for you guys don't have to jump back in unless you want to chat. Like I said, it's not that we can only talk about assignments. We can absolutely talk about, just what life's going on right now. We can talk about what's on the news and things like that when it comes to the coronavirus, because it's something that everyone should be informed about. So if you want to come back, whether it's to just hang out or if you have any other questions, please come back at 1:30. If not, you don't have to. It's not something that's the same as in the class. You have to be here the whole time. We're just chatting. And when I do these in the future, you can come in and out as you please. A deal of the essay for the research worksheet is due today for my Tuesday and Thursday classes and Monday for my Monday class. The discussion board questions are 1-page essays. That's going to be due next week. Will be the first one that follows that format. The one for this week does not follow that format. It's all of basically 60 seconds that you'll need to post. And then the final essay still will be due at the end of the semester. I will come back at 1:30, guys. If you want to come back and chat, you come back and we'll chat as much as we need to, whether it's about questions and assignments or just what's going on. And yeah. Cynthia, yes, we can absolutely chat one-on-one. After I'm done with these live streams for today, I still have a little bit of time before my day ends that we can schedule a time to either chat through email, or if we want to chat over the phone, whatever works for you. So what I would say to do is, for right now, why don't you email me? Let me know if you want to just kind of go back and forth through email today, or if you want to schedule a time to chat. Either one can work with me. So when you guys are saying essay, I don't actually know what you're talking about for which one of the assignments, because we have a lot that could technically be considered essays. So to that point of deal, try to be specific to anyone that's talking about essays. So if essay means research worksheet, that is different than if essay means the final paper at the end of the semester, which is step 3. It's different than if it means a discussion board post. So I don't exactly know which one you are talking about. I think most of you guys that are talking about essay right now are probably talking about the research worksheet, and that's due tonight for the Tuesday, Thursday class and Monday for the Monday class. You're very welcome, Cynthia. All right, I'm going to hang tight. If you guys have any questions for the next, couple of minutes, I'm going to hang tight right here. But then I'm going to close my stream just until 1:30. I'm going to grab a bite to eat for lunch. I'm going to throw on the news to see if anything new is happening, and I will be by my email for that time. But otherwise, I'll be back here at 1:30. But I'm going to leave this up for a couple minutes just in case anybody has a question that comes up. You're very welcome. I'll see you then, Adila. So when you say essay, Adila, do you mean the discussion board then? I just don't know which one you're referring to. If you're going to be here at 1:30, either way, we'll talk about it at 1:30 because I'm sure right now there's only 4 people here. I'm sure there's going to be a couple more that might be stopping in, and there might be some people that share your same question. So if you're going to be here, let's pause until then either way. But let me know which one you're talking about so that way I can answer what you mean. Because it could be, we have a research worksheet. The literature review paper is the final paper that uses the same articles as your research worksheet and the library session, and the discussion board assignment as well. So we just let me know which one you were referring to. All right, but for right now, I'm going to sign out for right now, guys. I actually have to figure out. Oh, there it is. I'm going to sign out right now, and I will be back at 1:30. I'm just going to heat up something to eat. But if you have questions for now, send me an email because I'm still by my email. All right, see you guys in a little.